What's going on, everyone? Juicebags here, and welcome back to some Dungeon Defenders 2. The new player questline for Dungeon Defenders 2 does a pretty darn good job of going and introducing you to all of the various vendors and NPCs throughout your tavern and in town. However, with that in mind, there's still a lot of folks that do get confused on what these NPCs do, as they're brand new to the game. Now, all of these various NPCs were added over the years. A few were here from the beginning. A lot of them came in later to do different things. Yet, almost all of them do have a purpose. So let's just start off right here and we'll work our way around the tavern and go through all of the NPCs. First off, you got the Petarian and the Stable Boy here. You can access both of them from the same spot, just with this tab up top. This is where you're going to hatch any pet eggs. So if you find a pet egg on a map, you're going to come here, click on it. It will open up a little interface to hatch it, and that's how you'll get pets. In addition to that, the Petarian is where you're going to level up or re-roll your pets. So all of those functions are available right here. Now, working our way around, everything in this Emporium section is either a cosmetic or some sort of vanity item. So anyone who is not concerned about the cosmetics or vanity items can just skip this whole section. However, there is some cool stuff here. Lots of the cosmetics are on display throughout. New stuff is always added in here just to show off the new stuff that was coming to the game. One important thing to note here on the weapons. Say you decide that you want to buy a Protean weapon and you're looking for, say, a Protean axe, for example. Now, you look at the stat rolls here on this item, 225 hero damage max and 152 ability power max. A couple things to note. First off, perfect rolls here are not necessarily going to be perfect rolls once you level the item up, just because how the rounding works. However, these items do re-roll every time you log into your tavern. So, if you're looking to buy one of these items, make sure you go through and you pick an item that's got the right stats that you want and decent rolls. Don't spend gems on an item that's got the wrong stats or the wrong rolls. Now, all of these weapons are just cosmetics. As you see, empty mod slots, so you kind of have to build them yourself. If you like the cosmetic, though, then this is the place where you get those. Those are available for the pirate shop and, of course, the professor shop. Now, moving on along, we got Grandma and we got the shard shop vendor here. These are two sources. First off, Grandma is where you would straight up buy shards. You can either gamble or buy the shard directly. If you gamble, it's going to be 500 defender medals or 125 gems to get a shard pack with 5 shards from that tier. The RNG is absolutely horrible on this. I don't suggest anyone ever buy these shard packs. Just buy the shard you want directly. So if you're looking for destruction, then just get yourself a destruction direct. It's going to be 1,000 defender medals or 250 gems, but you're going to guarantee you get that specific item with no RNG involved. If you like to gamble, then of course, you can do it. This is another good way to look through the different shard tiers and see where something drops. So, say, for example, you wanted a defense rate shard. You can go ahead and find defense rate, and you're going to see in the top left corner there of that little icon, it says Chaos 4. So, this is going to be a Chaos 4 drop, meaning if you run Chaos 4 maps, you're going to have the potential of getting yourself a defense rate shard from those maps. Next up, we've got the shard shop that is the shard dust. So every time you open a shard that you don't need, say this broadhead arrows, and you sell it, you're going to get shard dust in return. that is the chaos tier of the shard that you just sold. So in this example, we got chaos 10 shard dust. This is basically another reroll element that allows you to respend if you got shards you just don't want. So you can then come in and buy a new chaos 10 shard, unidentified shard. This will be a single shard. It's 10 to 1, so not the greatest value there. However, you're going to get lots of shards you just don't want to use, and this is how you can cycle through that shard dust. Now, moving on over to the Explorer. This is basically the survival vendor. When you run survival maps, you're going to end up getting godly orbs. When you have an excess of godly orbs, you can spend those here. 1 godly orb gets you a survival shard. 8 godly orbs gets you an exquisite chest. So this is purely just the survival vendor, just godly stuff only. Next up, we have the Blacksmith. The Blacksmith does 2 different functions. First off, this is where you're going to re-roll your godly stat. So say, for example, you got this mark. Well, obviously, you're not going to have a mark, so that's a terrible example. Let's go with this medallion instead. It's got 9.7% defense crit chance on it. If I wanted to re-roll this, it's going to cost a godly orb, an exquisite ancient hammer, and then either 250 defender medals or gems. This can get quite expensive as there is no way to save your current roll. So like the maximum defense crit chance is 10%. I'm only at 9.7. I could end up easily burning through, 10,000, 15,000 defender medals trying to fish for a higher defense crit chance roll there, and possibly might never get it. In addition, we've got the Devolve tab. So say for some reason you've got an item that you wanted to devolve. So let's see, do we have a Chaos 10 item? Let's say this one, for example, and let's say we wanted to re-roll that Tenacity Servo. This is just a placeholder relic for anyone that's curious. That's not an actual build. So say I was wanting to re-roll the Tenacity Servo, but I didn't have any materials or any exquisite materials from Chaos 10 to re-roll it, and I wanted to re-roll it at Chaos 9, 8, or 7 to use up pristine materials. Well, you could devolve this one for the cost of 1 amp, 1 exquisite hammer, and then 125 defender medals or gems, and then that will allow me to roll the item at the additional tier, or at the lower tier. Now remember, don't do this on an item that you want to keep, as it is quite expensive to re-upgrade an item afterwards. So use this on a throwaway item. So like if I got a Chaos 10, say that anti-melee was on a Chaos 10 relic, if I wanted to roll that with pristine materials, I could go ahead and lower this down and then just trash this relic when I move the anti-melee over to the higher tiered item that I want to use. Next up, we got Professor Proteus, the Tinkerer. This is a vendor you will know well. This is where you move your mods around. So if you wanted to move, say, like that placeholder item, if you wanted to move that over to, let's say, this relic, so we wanted to put the Tenacity over there, this is where you would do it. Now, in addition to that, like I've got the other 10 out of 10 mods here. If you hold the left shift button, it's going to bring up the goblin item interface. Now remember, this is a toggle. Like I'm not holding shift anymore. So if you don't want to use the goblin item insurance, make sure you toggle it off so that element is not showing there. If it is showing there, it's going to allow you to move the mod off of the item, but will allow you to keep the old item and not trash it. You will no doubt get lots of use out of Professor Proteus. He is an integral part of the game, and you will use him an absolute ton. Next up, we got the Konel, which is the Defender Metal Shop. These are all eggs, cosmetic eggs mostly. The Ghost Cat egg and additionally Terror Dragolich egg are both pretty hot items as far as the pet ability they get. Some of the best stuff in the game. However, most of this stuff is all cosmetic. and you can buy these pets directly with Defender medals. Additionally, these exact types of pets, this is the only place you'll get them. So if you want this particular pet, you have to buy it with Defender medals or from another player. Additionally, you can buy the pet affection boosters here, and that will allow you to upgrade your pet without actually playing. Next up, we got the First Mate's Material Shop. This is a straight up material vendor. Say, you're farming Chaos 10, but you want to re-roll an item at Chaos 1. You don't have any more plain motes. You can come over here and buy the plain motes directly. 25 Defender medals or 5 gems for each 1 plain mote. So quite costly, unless you are Richie Rich. You're probably not going to want to use this one too often. It is handy when you're just 1 item short and you've got some Defender medals just to be able to buy an item. However, it is very pricey to go through and actually like re-roll an entire relic, 286 re-rolls. Well, it's 11,880 Defender medals or 2,970 gems just for 1 stack of pristine tokens. And you're going to need 286 of them just for 1 mod. So it will be quite expensive to use this material shop. However, it is very, very handy if you're just one-off and you need 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever items, and you've got some Defender medals to blow. This is the one that gets people the most, and that is none of the materials show up until you click them, or until you have them. So if you're new to the game and you don't have any Chaos 7 or higher crafting materials yet, it's gonna just show up a blank interface here. But this is basically a down converter. You're able to convert, say that same example. Say I'm farming Chaos 10. I've got an item that's Chaos 1 level that I want to re-roll, but I don't have any plain motes. I can go ahead and give up some of my exquisite motes and pick up some plain motes in return. It's going to cost 5 Defender medals or 8,000 gold for each one. So, this can get kind of pricey as well, but once again, extremely handy. It's gold, right? So at some point, you will get to a point where gold is kind of a non-issue for you, and buying some with gold is not really a huge deal. So you're able to down convert any of your crafting materials from Chaos 7 or higher, or pristine or higher elements. You can't use any lower quality, and that includes amps. So it's got to be Chaos 7 or higher to use the material conversion vendor. These guys are just here for scenery. Same thing with Stubborn Old Man over here. However, the Tavern Keeper, although he's just here for cosmetics, just to spruce the place up a little bit, he does have a function, and that is, this is the bug reporter. So if you click report bug there, it's going to open up a bug reporting interface where you can report any bugs you might come across in the game. Down here in the very basement, we've got the black market vendor, the black market dealer. This is where you can buy some of those goblin item insurances, like if you're capped on Defender medals and just don't know where to spend them. Goblin item insurance is always a good purchase. And then once you've played and you've got way too much gold and you don't want to, you want to dump some of your gold, you can buy one of these golden cosmetics. We got the gold barbarian here now, fancy gold top hat, etc., etc. 1 billion gold. They're quite expensive. Additionally, any of the premium pet eggs. Now, these are the pet eggs that you would convert over at the pet dealer to a premium pet, can be acquired right here. So you can buy the pet egg directly with gems. Now moving on around upstairs. That is about everybody so far. We got more guards just for scenery. And then over here we've got the Scavenger. The Scavenger is where items are going to go that like fall off the map. Say you're playing a map that has a flyer over a water area and a flyer drops something, or something just falls off the map or falls through the world. The Scavenger is likely going to pick it up here for you, and you could come over and reclaim that piece of gear. Mana notice for Ancient Power. Do not hit this button until you have fully looked into the Ancient Power system. That's too much to add on to this video, but don't hit the button until you know what you're doing. Ancient Power is another integral part of the system later on in game. Just don't do it before you're ready. And then we got the Knight Commander, who's just here for looks at this point, but also is the NPC that puts out all of the new player quests, and that will, you'll be visiting the Knight Commander quite regularly. And then we've got the War Table just to start up matches, but that is a tavern tour and exactly what the NPCs here in Tavern do. Hopefully this helps you all out. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you soon. Take it easy.